of 6 hours ago than right now.
I mean, one implication of the race dynamics, if this does turn out that, every nation or at least group of nations who can trust each other it's good for Nvidia stock though, I feel. I mean, a lot of data centers are going to be built. I don't know.
I mean, it also depends. Like, for example, yeah, right, sure. So Nvidia stock is one thing. For example, there are lots of other parts of the supply chain that essentially start getting squeezed, right? Like, if you think about it, Nvidia stock is also tied to Taiwan security very, very closely, right? So, like, suddenly China, like, Nvidia, US wants this model. All of those chips for this model come from this island that I really want control over. How should I think about this, right? Like, imagine Russia and US during the Cold War, but all of uranium is being mined in Russia for US, right? And US essentially banning nuclear export, which they did, right? US would essentially really, really want to insource chip production in China, in the US, which they've been unsuccessful to do until now, right? So this is, I think, in some sense, comparing this to nukes, there are like some very different parallels, because unlike a nuke, there are no, like, the benign use cases does not involve you and me every day using nuclear power. They still are like large mega projects that essentially a nation state or like a large power company will undertake. But an AI model is something like, it's just math, it's code. It's you and me who can go understand like what's in it, which might not be true for, I'm guessing, building a nuclear reactor is much, much, much harder. And yeah, so in some ways it's very, very different from like having nuclear or this thing. It's like you can't actually go outlaw, like you can go restrict uranium supply chains, you can't outlaw math.
But I mean, honestly, but that's a very good point. I mean, on the for China to kind of, like, if US succeeds in building a world-class model, or like, a model which is at least publicly known, and US uses that model to kind of build their military offenses in such a way that it becomes very difficult for any country to catch up, or if China at least feels that, this could fuck us, I mean, they might use that as justification to kind of, and rightfully so, I feel. I don't know. If you feel like
this is the make or break for like your national security.
Correct, right?
Then essentially, like, even doing something as simple as like not allowing TSMC to export stuff will start off like a different geopolitical dynamic than what is right now. So like, yeah, 100%. Like, this becomes super complicated super quickly. China has been trying to build their own chip supply chain internally. We don't know how much compute China has already built out. Huawei has built, there's Huawei, which is their own homegrown infrastructure, like homegrown Nvidia has essentially outsourced some of the chip production to TSMC, majority of the chip production to TSMC, but they're really trying hard to get this in-source and get this from this company called SMIC, which is China's own TSMC. So that also gets accelerated. Like, China now, Huawei and SMIC are on the clock to essentially, and every other like chip maker is on the clock to be like, okay, how quickly can we essentially produce GPUs? Because it's suddenly gone from like, oh, this is going to be very, very profitable to do, to, oh,